All right, real quick update on the Canon 7000 32-bit gimbal. I was out of town last weekend, so I'm just getting back to it. I did make a few changes on it, and I'm still tweaking it as I go. There's a lot of learning. I'm not real familiar with these gimbals, but you know, I can manage around and get some of the settings to get the gimbal to work the way I want it to work. So some of the mods that I've done is added tennis racket handle grips, got rid of that yellow foam stuff. So these are over wraps. You'll find it at your sports store. They're used for tennis rackets. I placed the battery under here, and I'll explain that in a second. For those of you who are building these gimbals, it's really important that your pan axis is one of those things that you adjust as well. Otherwise, you're not going to get the stability on your gimbal that you're looking for. What's going to happen is every time you tilt your camera's just going to sway left or sway right. Your motor basically up here is going to work really hard and not be able to stabilize the pan axis. So it's very important that this is one of the things that you balance as well. But in any case, so I upgraded the hand grips, moved the battery here so I get better balance on my pan axis. On the back side here, I added that project box that I was working on. I showed you that one video. There's a switch here, so now if I really need to, I could just hit the switch very quickly. I don't need to mess with the battery cables. So that's that. Besides that, not too much. This is a 5D with a Sigma 20, so I've configured a profile for this camera here. Oh, by the way, I've also added the joystick on the rear here. I didn't do that in the beginning, but the joystick is now on there. And this has a momentary push button, which I'll kind of demo in a second. Basically, you're in the software, you can configure how many clicks to basically create an action. The default is so many clicks will load a different profile. So if you had a 5D and you wanted to change to a different lens, and you had a different profile for that lens, you could just press a button and switch to that different profile. So when you're building your gimbal, one of the things that you want to do before you even get into PID tuning is getting the camera balanced properly. Your camera should basically be able to do this. You should be able to hold your camera back. It should be able to maintain its position without falling over, flopping over. Your roll as well, you should be able to tilt your roll, and you should be able to hold that roll axis, and that means that it's balanced. Now for your pan axis, now my bar is protruding out a little forward. When you first assemble it, you want everything to be as flush as possible, but the truth is this bar is going to have to move depending on the type of camera. So what you want to do is try and find a good center of balance for your pan axis so that this back end is not crazy heavy, and then as soon as you tilt your handlebars, it just starts swinging all over the place. So you definitely want to move this around. So the way I've been kind of checking mine is if I were to have my gimbal in this position here, and then if I was to tilt it like that, it's not falling over. If some of you guys have a gimbal, try that out. Tilt your gimbal like this and just see if this guy just like flops down. If it does, you're gonna need to make some adjustments. There's only one way to adjust it. It's either forward or back. There's nothing else you could do. So just make sure you're doing that. Without that, trust me, your pan stabilization is gonna be garbage. In fact, you probably burn out your motor if you're trying to get your motor to stabilize all of that imbalance. But anyways, let me show you where I'm at right now. Again, 5D and a Sigma 20mm lens. For those of you who are flying like a 16-35, that would work out as well. So I have two profiles loaded on here, and you control switching profiles through the joystick, and I'll show you that in a second. So let me boot this guy up. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this guy off of there, and now my default profile that boots up has a pan follow, but does not have a tilt follow. You can see here. See how stable my profile is here. Very stable. Actually, I could flip this around, but my lens will hit the frame. But anyways, I don't have a tilt follow. But what happens is on this joystick, there's a momentary push button. So you can toggle between different settings. So if I push it, for me, if I push it once, I'm going to enter into a different profile. It's just rebooted. So now if I tilt, you'll notice my camera will tilt as well. And I still have my pan axis. And now my joystick, also my joystick, I could just adjust my my roll and my tilt. And so my pan is following here. If I want to go back to my original profile, for me I hit it 3 times. And so now I should have disabled my tilt again. Ugh. So, very cool stuff. This is my profile for the Canon 5D. And again, a couple of tweaks, added the switch there, the project box to cover everything up. I didn't clean up the wires as best as I could. I may go back to that. Oh, and I did add a pigtail, a USB pigtail here. And that's for me to connect without having to, recreate a USB hole here. Get that box lined up. This is kind of where I'm at right now. Anyways, yeah, it's still a work in progress. I do have those videos. I will be uploading them, just kind of showing you the build process, running some of the wires, mounting the boards, and calibrating the sensors. Haven't got into the PID tuning because that is another nightmare on its own. As far as balancing out the 3 axes, I do have some other content out there that you guys could watch. And then your pan axis is basically just moving your bar forward and back. Anyways, yeah, take a look at the website for more information about this product. This is the Canon 7000 new 32-bit 3-axis gimbal, and then other stuff at the blog cheesycam.com.